Hello, everyone at home, and welcome to another episode of BarQuest. Possibly now in HD. I forgot to hit 4K, so it's HD for this one, if this works. But I'm here today with my esteemed guest on this episode, Aaron Merrill, everybody. Keep it going for Aaron. Aaron, tell the good people at home where we're at today. What is your favorite bar in Chicago?
Sure. Thanks for having me. This is the friendly sounds of DMen Tap on Belmont in Avondale. My favorite bar in Chicago. We found this bar pre-pandemic. I had some friends that we were starting to play D&D, and none of us had an apartment where we could have like 6 people over for all day. And this is a D&D metal bar. All the art on the wall is the exact Venn diagram of like D&D and heavy metal and like 70s van, like an Astro van vibe. And we started playing here in the back room on Sundays, and it's just like the most friendly, inviting, weirdest bar I've been in. I love it. They started off as a doner kebab food truck, and then they got so successful they opened this brick and mortar place, and they still have a food truck that goes around, so you might see them if you see them around. The food is great. I love it. They have banging food. Their bartenders are always really fun and nice. The bartenders pick the music, so we're hearing God knows what right now. But it's always either punk or metal or something loud and fun. So I love it. We've been coming here. I moved here in 2018, and we've been coming here since like 2019. Love it.
Hell yeah. It's in, where is this? It's like between Irving Park and Logan, essentially.
I think this is Avondale, technically.
Avondale.
Yeah, it's right by the Kumas, is like Caddy Corner, and there's Belmont between Sacramento and California.
Exactly. Yeah, I discovered it myself going to Kuma's, one of my favorite burger bars. Also, just awesome beer, awesome food. They usually always have some like insane slasher film on, and then crazy metal music. Massive burgers too. But yeah, I discovered that. Yeah, if you go there, I mean, we'll probably do an episode there. I'm sure someone will pick there. But what's great is you go there and then you come here after. You have a couple drinks. My girlfriend, her old housemate, actually works here on Mondays. Shout out to Kate. Yeah, so come visit Kate. She's great. She works here and at Cobra. So she's a fan of metal and all of that too. So it's pretty cool. But we would come here, and I feel like you talked about it after I had discovered it already, and it was like, oh yeah, that place rules. The best part, so that's the front part here. You're kind of seeing it. It's almost like Halloween themed a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Get a shot there. So there you go. There's the bar. You can see where they serve the doner kebab. Hold on a second.
Doner kebab.
And if you're listening on audio, you're not seeing any of this. So
a shit ton of vegan stuff too, for like a metal vegan food. The vegan food is quite good. I'm not a vegan, but finding good vegan food is hard.
This is true. Yeah, I will have to try that next time. Their beer selection here also dope. You're sipping on a Montucky cold snack.
The best $2 beer.
It's so good, especially the tall boys, and they have the tall boys. And then I'm sipping on a draft of 93 octane mango sour diesel, and it's pretty good. They usually have I feel like they always have like a sour on tap. And then they've got really good seltzers, too, I'll say. I forget who does them, but they have, like, good canned seltzers here. Yeah. Also,
they also specialize in mead. Yes. My fiancé loves mead, and they have a great selection, including a bunch that are, like, produced here in Chicago. She ordered she ordered a case of them during lockdown, and so we get to have them. They're great.
Right on. The best part for me, though, about this whole place is the back room, that's where you would play D&D. It has a bunch of, like, old-school gaming systems and just, like, shelves of games. So, like, Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and N64, and then they also do like. Yes, yeah, some pinball machines. They also do comedy back there. I've been here. Oh, they do karaoke too. Nice. I've been here when they've done like experimental DJs, which is kind of wild. And they had like all these like, I don't even know, the whole kit and caboodle where they're like changing the frequency of everything. It was pretty cool. But so this place is just kind of wild. There's a lot going on here. Cool. That's where we're at. But let's talk about you for a hot second. I met you in D.C. When you were on Richie.
Well, I didn't meet you. I don't remember meeting you.
Maybe like just in passing. True. Very true.
I had heard of you. We had mutual friends in the comedy scene in D.C. And when I moved here, one of them already moved here, our friend Erica.
Yes.
And she knew you.
Yeah.
She was my roommate in D.C. We did comedy together, and she knew you.
I didn't realize you guys were roommates. That's awesome.
For like a year or so. Truxton Circle, gunshots every night. It's great neighborhood. Nice. But yeah, Erica was like, oh, our biggest fan, Seth, is moving to Chicago. And then I think the first time I remember meeting you was outside I.O. here. Yeah. And you were like, I remember Richie. And I was like a little blown away.
I started doing improv when I was 26, so that's many years ago. 8 years ago. 8 years ago. But you were on Richie at the time when I started kind of going up, or you were like, when I would go to Herald Night, you would be performing. Richie would perform. And I always loved that team. Really funny players on it. And then I remember distinctly you being like, I'm moving to Chicago. And then that kind of planted the seeds of, like, should I move to Chicago? And then Erica also moved out here. Yeah, maybe she did it. Yeah, it was you guys both did it around the same time, and I was like, what's going on there? Maybe I should go there. So paved the way. We met up outside of I.O. And look at us. Here we are here. So that's been my experience with you, and it rocks. But describe how you got into comedy and how you got here and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I used to be a lawyer and hated it. I realized I hated it about halfway through law school, which is the worst time to realize it. And I moved to D.C. after law school to work in nonprofits. That was not particularly rewarding. And so when I was 30, I started doing comedy. I took my first improv class when I was 29. Wow. And I made it my goal to be on stage 5 times before I turned 30 that year. Nice. And I think I made it. I don't remember anymore. That was now 11 years ago. And then in 2018, after doing comedy for 7 or 8 years in D.C., I moved here, basically following Erica's footsteps. She one of the most gifted performers I've ever gotten to perform with.
She's hilarious.
And she moved. We were roommates for like a year, and then she moved here. And I came and visited Chicago. My fiancé and I got together right before we left D.C. together. We moved here, her to go to film school at Second City, and me to do improv like an idiot.
At I.O., right?
Well, I did it everywhere. I did I.O. and then Annoyance, and then I started conservatory at Second City. You and I had one conservatory class.
Famously. Yeah.
And then
2. We had 2.
Well, I only went to 1.
Oh, okay.
So, and then the first thing I did after lockdown was go to your rooftop party with a bunch of our conservatory friends. And I was like, these are all still very close friends of mine, but like we didn't know each other in person that long. I mean, you and I did, but the rest of them.
I feel like we all really got to know each other a lot more because of COVID. And we did put up a show. Yeah. We put up a show that we did the one where we live streamed it and you directed it. And then but then we did another one for Sketchfest.
Oh, right. Oh.
Yeah. We had to make it. We had to like tone down some stuff, and the music wasn't as fun. But yeah, that was really fun. That was a blast. And then then Fancy was basically born out of there.
A couple of different teams around town, and
You went back and did the directing program at Second City.
I did. I would not recommend it for anyone for any reason.
It's so wild right now. Like the reason I always wanted to come study here was Second City, and I think so many people it was that. And then I moved here, and right away it became very clear, like you can do stuff there, but it's kind of like, yeah, but the ones that are kind of doing it right, or like, it's this weird thing where it's like, you can, but it's kind of like, and that was before the pandemic. Now it's like, people are like, don't do it, it's way too much money and not worth the time.
Program, I talked about a show I wanted to produce, and my advisor in the directing program was straight up like, don't put that up here. That's not the place to do it. It's very weird. Like, they've since been bought, and a million, like, behind-the-scenes stuff, they have no idea what they're doing. Yeah. Not that any place post-pandemic really does. I mean...
That's fair. But we studied at, like, you did I.O. and Annoyance. I don't really know so much about I.O. pre-pandemic or even now, but Annoyance was always, like, awesome. I love doing that program. That program was you did the Mick class with me too.
Through that program, yes. Brad Rickert, hilarious New York stand-up now, and several like mutual friends through I was in the same. I never had a class with like Sam or any of those people, but that was the same time. Just like seeing them around and perform all the time. So that's. And this is all a little bittersweet for me because in 1 week I am leaving Chicago and kind of stopping doing comedy for the foreseeable future. Okay. My fiancé and I both work remotely, and so we decided to take a year off and travel around the country.
Which is awesome.
I mean, we'll see. So far it's been enormously stressful.
The 3 cities, 3 cities or 4 cities? 4 cities you're going to.
We're moving to New Orleans first. And then Seattle, Montreal, and Austin, Texas.
Oh, I didn't know about Austin.
Yeah, nice. That's the last one on the list. And so I probably am done performing for a little bit, I assume. But interested to see what the comedy scene in all those 4 cities is like. Maybe the first BarQuest road shows.
That would be sweet.
You want to come visit?
Yeah, we could do that. We could totally do that.
New Orleans famously has 1 or 2 bars.
Yeah, a handful. I'd be really curious what the improv scene is like down there.
So I've only been to New Orleans once, and I found an incredible bar that I loved. And there was a dude outside putting up a projector to advertise his improv show. Wow. It was just titled Industrial Improv, and then had some weird clip art of like a city skyline. Clearly not the New Orleans city skyline, just a skyline. Yeah. And that show was happening 1 month in the future. So I think he was just leaving his projector outside at a bar in New Orleans. And I couldn't fathom it. I blown away.
That's incredible. That doesn't surprise me. New Orleans is really crazy. I'm definitely going to come visit you when you're down there. Let's see. Did you know Annie Berry at all?
Yeah. I got to take some classes with her at Dojo. Yeah. And then I think at I.O. also. Yeah, she was great.
I want to say she's in Seattle, maybe Portland. So
I think when I left DC,
that could be cool.
She and her partner moved to Portland. Okay. Because I think that's where she's from. But super talented.
Have you been back to DC at all?
Only for like weddings and stuff. I haven't dipped into the comedy scene since we left. Although I did get invited to District Improv Fest. Now that I don't live in DC, I'm allowed to submit. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Seth and I are on a team that
we should. It's
all. We're on, one of the teams we're on that performs together is all ex-DC people.
Ex-DC.
And all of us are a bit salty that we lived in DC and did improv and were like very involved in that theater scene, and the headlining festival wouldn't accept our submissions. And then we all moved away, and they were like, "Oh, now you're good enough to submit." And I think those people can get fucked. Some of those people are my friends. You know who you are. That fucking sucks. Do better than that.
But if we submit in the future, definitely take us.
No, I will never submit. No? I refuse. Fuck that. If you're in DC and you're interested in comedy, Wit is a fantastic place, full of fantastic people and also awful people, because it is the only place.
It is, yeah. It's definitely a monopoly. Is Dojo no more?
I have no idea. That was such a one-man operation.
It was crazy.
I know
but it was
Unified
awesome.
Scene collapsed or not collapsed, but Sean moved.
Yeah.
And so that
was
also
awesome.
A one-man.
Loved that. Love Sean Westfall, right? Yeah.
I never took classes with him. I have no opinion of him. I performed there once or twice.
I got to interview him for my old podcast, and he's a very cool guy, very nice guy. Yeah, but yeah, that one he left like willingly, and then he might be doing improv in. I think he might be in Seattle now. Where's the Nike headquarters? Isn't that in
Beaverton, Oregon?
Oh, really? Oh, I thought they were. Or wait, no, not Nike. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of something else. His wife got a job with like Facebook, perhaps. It's been a minute, but yeah, I think he's in like that area. Yeah, West Coast. Regardless,
I don't know.
I was like, yeah, man. All right. No, it's all good. That's super fun. Very cool. Taking a break from it. Have you been like writing like sketch and stuff like that like the past couple years too, or mostly just?
A little bit. The directing program at Second City is mostly sketch, and I'm not a very good sketch writer. I don't. My brain doesn't work that way.
It's tough.
It's hard. I liked directing sketch. I was much better at that, and I got it. And I feel like my secret talent is punch-up. Not everyone who's worked with me agrees when they submit their writing to me, but that's the most I worked on sketch was for the directing program. I didn't even finish conservatory. Did you? You didn't either. No. But like some of our friends from that bizarre March 2020 conservatory class did, and I regret not finishing it, mostly because I wish I was better at sketch writing. But also, having gone through the directing program, I don't know if Second City would make me better at sketch writing.
Yeah, it just got weird when the next level. I think I did the first 3 levels, and then the next level was like focusing on acting on stage, and it was a Zoom class. I was like, yeah, this seems like a waste of money. Like, I don't think it's going to work. So that's when I dipped out, and I was like, oh, I'll come back after the pandemic. But the reviews from everyone who completed it said not to do it. So I was like, or to like wait, because it's been just kind of like all over the place with like the teachers and all that stuff. And it got like definitely more expensive. So I was like, I don't know. But you also, I just want to point out too, before we continue on with the bar, you also directed Elizabeth's one act that I got to star in. Yeah,
Seth played every man in a 3-person one-act play.
It was great.
It was a lot of fun.
It had very few lines, which is perfect for me on the stage. So. But yeah,
you did great.
Thank you.
All 3 of you did great.
Yeah, it was really fun doing like a semi-serious, semi-comedic one act. That hopefully that will turn into something more. I think Elizabeth is talking about opening it up for other people to finish or to write the next act and then submit, and then we run it and see how it goes. It's a little chaotic, but it should be fun.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That was the thing that she wrote and submitted and starred in and produced, and I would be interested to see what it's like if she gives up a little, because it was so centered on her and her experience. Like, she was all the roles basically. Sure. I think it'd be hard to like make a half step, from like full control to some control. It seems challenging.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see if it turned out great.
Great. Anna Howerton and Liz Fulton. Big shout out to both of them. They were great.
Friends of the pod. Cool. Well, we're rounding up on the end. This is like, it's crazy how fast time goes by. But
favorite DMen Tap story.
Yeah, here, I'm going to give you the mic here. Get your favorite story and memories from DMen Tap.
So we had my 40th birthday here in the back room, and it was right at the end of lockdown, and everybody was like a little weird about being in public and like around other people, and drinking, like makes you sick. It just does. And we were back there. My birthday, I was born on Easter, and my birthday's on Easter every 7 years. So like Easter gifts are a real like recurring theme around my birthday sometimes. Sure. And one of my friends brought like an Easter basket from like CVS, like one of those like $5. It had like a bunch of like monster trucks and shit on it. And it also included a child-sized jump rope. And so around 1:45 in the morning on my birthday, we started jump roping in the back row and seeing who could jump rope the most with this tiny, like 3-foot-long jump rope. And it's just like a bunch of loud, drunk Midwesterners. So we're like jumping, just slamming on the ground. And one of the co-owners of the bar drifted back and was like, "What the fuck is going on back here?" And I was fully, I very hazy on this memory. But I remember our friend Ryan was talking to him. And then the next thing I remember is the owner of the bar doing jumping jack or doing jump rope with us. Yeah. And then he was like, "All right, don't fall into the pinball machines." And then he left. And we stayed. Chicago's a city with a bunch of great bars and a lot of like neighborhood watering hole kind of places. And this place is the best one I've been in by far. We came here like every Sunday, for 2 years probably. And then we didn't come for 2.5 years because of lockdown or whatever. And then we walked back in, and one of the bartenders was like, "Hey, you guys are back." And I truly did not expect that. It was like the best, like, welcome back I've had ever at a bar. It was cool. And the food is great. The people are great. They always do a Krampus celebration around Christmas time. The owner dresses up as Krampus and marches around the neighborhood, and they do like a whole charity thing. Their Instagram is really funny. This place is the best. I would strongly recommend, if you're anywhere near on the north side of Chicago, come visit. Love it.
Hell yeah. Great promotion of the bar. Come check it out. I'll put links to DMen Tap in the info if you want to follow them. Check them out. They're great. It's going to be...
We're sitting under one of the speakers.
I've notoriously always been close to a speaker for these. And you know what? It gives a little ambiance to it, for sure. This one actually isn't too bad compared to previous ones. The first one that I did of this podcast, I had to really go in and edit it a lot with Obi because the guy was blasting like EDM music, and there was 4 people there. And it was just like, this is a little aggressive. But Beauty Bar is notoriously a dancing place.
Also, this bar, the bartenders pick the music, and that's always a good sign.
Oh, and they show films, too, on the wall.
Yeah, there's always something weird going on.
Doing Mystery Science Theater tonight, which is great.
Yeah.
I don't know if it translates when you can't hear the audio, but it's still goofy. Those movies are ridiculous. Okay, so to finish this out here, any plans for the long term comedy-wise? I know you have like this voyage you're going on for the next year, but any like goals or things that you'd like to do in the future?
No, I think both my fiancé and I love Chicago and the comedy scene here, despite everything I've said on this podcast. So I think it's pretty 50-50 whether we move back here at the end of our travel time or move to LA. Both of us like writing. Like when I did that show at Second City, my favorite part was the thing I was most proudest about was when I finished the script and like got it bound for everybody, and then all the goddamn actors just like wrote on it and ripped it apart, and I was like, ugh. I was like, I found out what I liked was this part. But so for the next year or so, working on screenplay, kind of stuff I can do while traveling. Yeah.
Well, you will be missed here. You're a hilarious improviser, a good buddy. We love hanging out with you. My girlfriend loves hanging out with you and your fiance. So we're definitely going to come visit you guys in other cities. Check Aaron out. He's on Instagram. I'll put his tag on there too. If you want to collab with him in the future in one of these cities and you live there or you know people there, let him know. And, yeah, outside of that, come visit DMen Tap. This has been the episode. Anything else you want to plug?
No, this sounds great.
Hell yeah. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll catch you at the next one. Later.